A couple of years ago, I attempted my first Nuzlocke in Pokémon Sapphire. I only attempted twice and, of course, failed both times. One at Wallace and one at Steven. Today, I'll be trying to beat my first ever Nuzlocke, but with a twist. Well, two. First, I'll be going by hardcore Nuzlocke rules. So in addition to the usual, I'll be level capped to the next gym leader's strongest Pokemon, and I won't use items in battle. And second, this video won't end at the champion, so I recommend you watch through the whole thing. Let's go. I'm not the type to waste time, so we'll get right into the starter. Every starter has its advantages. That being said, Mudkip is obviously going to be my choice. Swampert just can't be beat. After nicknaming it Oceanus, see if you can guess the nickname theme of these next few Pokemon in the comments by the way, I destroyed my rival and then caught a Wurmple, Poochyena, and Ralts, which I nicknamed Omega, Sin, and Ice. Later, I accidentally feint my Zigzagoon encounter and catch a Shroomish that I nicknamed Haze. The first Aqua Grunt takes no effort, and wouldn't you know it, we're already at the first gym. Roxanne has two Pokemon in this game, Geodude and Nosepass at levels 14 and 15. Easy enough. I go in with a Mudkip and sweep her whole team, obviously. After this, I redeem my failed encounter and catch a Zigzagoon, which I nicknamed Nova, and a Whismur that I nicknamed Rage. After destroying the Aqua Grunt, I get on Bronny's boat and head over to Dewford Town. Here, I find and catch a Tentacool with my newly acquired Old Rod and nickname it Naturon. Alright, it's time for Broly. Sorry, not Broly, Brawly. I think Broly would probably just destroy me and the gym. Following the only two Pokemon trend, Brawly has a Machop and Makuhita at levels 17 and 18 respectively. You may question why I was at 19 then. Well, that's because I didn't check in advance, so there you go. Machop was pretty quickly destroyed by Ralts, but I know that Makuhita won't be as easy to fight. I already had a strategy in mind though. After sending in Haze, I used Leech Seed before wasting multiple turns on a Stun Spore. When I finally got it off, I immediately had to switch to avoid losing Haze. All I could hope was that Oceanus would be able to take a couple attacks from Makuhita since it already used multiple bulk ups. Thanks to Leech Seed and no crits, I was able to make it out of the battle with around 1/3 of my health left. In Granite Cave, I catch an Aeron that I nicknamed Shenron before heading to Slateport and taking out some more Aqua Grunts. After that, I caught a Wingull that I nicknamed Gohan before we faced what some consider to be the hardest battle in the game, Rival 2. Let's see if it lives up to its reputation. The Pokemon the rival has in my case are Wailmer, Grovyle, and Numel. I set up Calm Minds and double teams with my Kirlia. Yeah, I'm cheap. And during this time, the Wailmer manages to get my health down to almost half. If Kirlia gets KO'd, I'm not exactly sure what I can do to win. Luckily, I managed to sweep the rest of the team, only losing another small chunk of my health in the process. Seems a lot easier than expected to me. Next is Wally, which, although I love him like we all do, the first battle Wally is, not really very good. So it's finally time for Watson. Upgrading from 2 Pokemon to 3, Watson has Magnemite, Voltorb, and Magneton at levels 22, 20, and 23 respectively. Magnemite somehow takes Oceanus down to half health, which forces me to switch after defeating it and Voltorb. I send out Haze, who swiftly takes out Magneton with a couple of Mach Punches. Easy work. I catch a Volbeat, Numel, Torkoal, Spinda, Swablu, and Zubat, which I nicknamed Krillin, Tien, Piccolo, Chaozu, Bulma, and Nappa. It's time for Archie 1. This might be painful. Archie has a Mightyena, Golbat, and Sharpedo at levels 24, 24, and 25. Mightyena proves to be tough, forcing me to switch out Oceanus into Haze before I can even take it out. I switch into Ice for Golbat, thinking that logically 1 or 2 confusions should take it out. Well, Supersonic and Ice's low defense had something to say about that. I tried Sin and that also didn't work, and neither did Tentacool. Nova does some decent damage, but I realize I can't stay in much longer. So I take the risk and switch into Sin again, which just barely pays off. All that was left was Sharpedo. After 2 Mega Drains, the battle is won. I catch a Machop that I nicknamed Goku before heading over to Flannery. Following the 3 Pokemon trend, Flannery has 2 Slugma and a Torkoal at levels 26, 26, and 28. Gohan pretty easily takes out her first Slugma despite being poisoned, and thanks to Bubble Beam, Naturon takes out the second while receiving minimum damage. Then the true challenge arrived, Torkoal. Unlike the rest of these Pokemon, I'll actually mention Torkoal's moveset and ability for a reason. This Torkoal has Overheat, Body Slam, Flail, and Attract, which is already bad enough, but with the ability White Smoke, it prevents stat reductions from foe Pokemon, which will come in later. I decided to lead off with Oceanus, using Mudshot to attack and take Torkoal down to less than 1/3 of its health. Feeling like everything was almost over, I switched into Gohan, not realizing one thing. Flannery could heal. This is not good. And before I knew it, multiple Pokemon on the team were nearly about to faint. I send Sin out and use Sand Attack, forgetting about the white smoke ability. It just shows how little I paid attention considering it told me right before. I end up sacrificing Sin and switching into Naturon to take the Torkoal out. What should have been a deathless gym caused our first loss. But we don't even have any time to mourn, we gotta finish this thing. I catch a Sandshrew that I nicknamed Raditz before I head back to Petalburg in order to fight my dad. With 2 Slackings and a Vigoroth, his team is no joke. Natron takes the first Slacking out while keeping half of its health. Goku takes out Vigoroth even easier, so far so good. So I send out Shenron thinking I can Iron Defense spam and take out the last Slacking easily. Makes sense, right? Well, it does until you remember that Slacking has Focus Punch, which I did not. RIP. I take it out in 2 Mach Punches thanks to Haze and get my badge. Afterwards I head to New Mauville and catch a Voltorb that I nicknamed Popo. I also catch an Oddish nicknamed Nail before I battle Shelly at the Weather Institute. It's a pretty easy fight. I pick up Castform and head towards Rival 3. I swept this team with relative ease. Castform easily surprised me the most by taking Grovyle out in 1 hit. Later I catch a Kecleon nicknamed Dende and head over to Winota. She has 4 Pokemon, Asuelo, Altaria, Skarmory, and Pelipper at levels 31, 33, 32, and 30. I take out the entire team like nothing, with Castform coming in clutch against Altaria. I then caught a Shuppet nicknamed Zamasu before I fight my rival again in Lily Cove. Again my team rains destruction upon hers with relative ease. I head into Aqua Hideout and fight Matt who gets swept. Popo has been a star player so far. Finally, we arrive at Tate and Liza underleveled. As you can see, they have a Lunatone and Solrock both at level 42. Despite nearly losing Ice, I'm able to take out both Pokemon without any deaths. And after some diving, I reach Archie 2, the final battle. His Mightyena goes down without any risk before I face his Crobat, who I also take down with ease. Sharpedo gets taken down in 1 hit and that's it. For some reason, he uses the red orb on the blue Pokemon, which always confused me, before it incites a horrific monsoon that could potentially take out everyone on Earth. So it's time to stop that. After walking through the dark cave, I catch the Kyogre, which I nicknamed Whis. Then it's time to fight Wallace. Wallace has 5 Pokemon, those being Luvdisc, Celio, Seaking, Whiscash, and Milotic. 2 at 40, 2 at 42, and 1 at 43. This is where I wiped a few years ago. Let's see if I can overcome it this time. I take out Luvdisc with ease, same with Whiscash, Celio, and Seaking. So far so good. All we have to do is take out Milotic and it'll be over. I decide to pick the cheap double team Calm Mind strat, and despite losing half of my health, it works. Deathless. I catch a Chinchou that I nicknamed Puar before I make my way through Victory Road and fight Wally. Unlike before, he's actually formidable this time. The Altaria gets taken out relatively easily, but Magneton almost takes out my Torkoal before I can finish it off. Torkoal gets revenge by taking out Roselia before we face the very scary level 45 Gardevoir. Swampert almost gets taken out before I can switch into Bulma, which seemed like a good idea at first. I go for a Dragon Breath, and I miss. I also go for a Fly, and I miss. And Gardevoir gets a critical hit on top of that. Just bad luck. Thankfully, I send out my own Gardevoir and take it out. It's time to show off the final E4 team. First we have Haze the Breloom holding a Miracle Seed with the moves Mega Drain, Mach Punch, Sky Uppercut, and Leech Seed. Second, we have Oceanus the Swampert holding Soft Sand with the moves Surf, Waterfall, Earthquake, and Takedown. Next we have Ice the Gardevoir with Hypnosis, Psychic, Double Team, and Calm Mind. Fourth is Puar the Lantern with Flail, Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt, and Confuse Ray. Fifth is Tien the Camerupt holding a Rostberry with Amnesia, Rock Slide, Eruption, and Earthquake. And finally, sixth is Whis the Kyogre with Body Slam, Calm Mind, Ice Beam, and Hydro Pump. Yes, I'm using it. Sydney is the Elite Four's Dark-type user with the Pokemon Mightyena, Cacturne, Shiftry, Sharpedo, and Absol. 2 at 46, 2 at 48, and 1 at 49. I take out Mightyena and Absol with no effort before using Tien on Shiftry, destroying it. Sharpedo gets obliterated by Puar, and Tien takes out Cacturne with ease, ending the battle. Easy. Next is Phoebe, with 2 Dusclops, 2 Banette, and a Sableye. 1 at 48, 2 at 49, 1 at 50, and 1 at 51. Dusclops kinda takes itself out, Banette gets destroyed, and the second Banette gets me with Toxic before I take it out. Only 2 left. I get Sableye with a Thunderbolt and take out Dusclops with a Hydro Pump. 2 out of 4 down. So far, so good. Glacia has 2 Glalie, 2 Celio, and a Walrein. 2 at 50, 2 at 52, and 1 at 53. In the beginning, I send out Haze to hit Glalie with a Sky Uppercut. It's faster, and I faint. Not good. I really needed that for Steven. We gotta press on through though. Tien barely survives after taking it out before I use Puar to take out the first Celio. The second one goes down pretty easily as well. The nice Glalie is taken out just barely by Oceanus, who defrosts the same turn like the god he is. All I need to do now is take out Walrein. And thanks to Puar, I did just that. The final member left is Drake, who has a Shelgon, Altaria, 2 Flygon, and a Salamence. To be honest, I just used Whis to Ice Beam them all, so there's not much here. Let's confront the champ. Steven is a pretty formidable foe with Skarmory, Claydol, Aggron, Cradily, Armaldo, and Metagross. Their levels are ranging from 55 to 58. This might be tough. Knowing he leads with Skarmory, I send out Tien, who takes it out in one hit. Aggron is taken out by Oceanus with ease, and next is Cradily, who can be a real issue. I bring out Whis and Ice Beam a couple of times to defeat it. Next is Claydol, who I take out with Hydro Pump before Metagross comes out. I send out Oceanus planning to Earthquake it, but clearly it had stronger firepower than me. With Oceanus gone, I send Whis back out, and thanks to a critical hit, I take Metagross out. Only one left. Armaldo faints to 1 Hydro Pump, and like that, I'm the champion. I did it. The first Nuzlocke is over. Well, kind of. Let's tackle the post-game. To be fair, you could say that this game doesn't really have a post-game, but there are a few things to do. First, we have to catch Rayquaza. After getting my entire team wiped out multiple times, I catch it and nickname it God. Next, it's time to acquire the Reggies. First, I head back to Sootopolis and catch a Relicanth nicknamed Bojack before going to Lily Cove to catch a Wailmer nicknamed Broly. I evolve it and head over to the area that unlocks them. After using Dig and heading into the next room, I realize my Wailord and Relicanth are in the wrong position and activate the Reggies. Regice is my personal favorite and the first on the list. In order to catch this one in Sapphire, you wait for a couple of minutes and the doorway opens. After what felt like forever, I finally caught it and nicknamed it Android 13. Next was Regirock, who you activate by taking a few steps and using Strength. This one took even longer than the last, and after forever, I finally caught it and nicknamed it Paragus. Only one Reggie left. You activate Registeel by walking to the center of the room and using Fly. After another eternity, I finally caught it and nicknamed it Cell. Finally, I have them all. If this gets 500 likes and like 5k or so views, I'll tackle the Battle Tower.